If you're struggling with an addiction, let's say it's a smoking addiction or an alcohol addiction, year in, year out, you probably even write down some resolutions or you set goals to end your habits regarding drinking, smoking, or any other addiction. I'm talking about the bad ones, the ones that you yourself, you know that I really need to get rid of these bad habits, but it's just too hard for me. What are those steps that you need to take? I'm going to tell you about the steps that you need to take based on the experiences that I have had. You might have watched other videos that I have done in which I literally ended a drinking and smoking habit, or should I say habits, of over 10 years. Yes, if you look at me today, I don't look like I used to smoke, I don't look like I used to drink and whatnot, but that has been the story of my life. I can tell you as we speak right now that it's now been over, I think, close to 8 years. 8 years, yeah, ever since I stopped those habits. So now, like I said, if you're going through that kind of struggle, this is the video for you, and I'm going to prove it to you. I'm going to show you how you can actually overcome a habit like that one. Because you see, most of the times when we get caught up in these habits like drinking and smoking, I know there are some times when people start these habits because of peer pressure, or because maybe they went through something traumatic, or like a situation or an experience which haunts them every night. Sometimes some people actually have nightmares or things that they're trying to escape. But the reason why people actually find themselves in such habits is because they are trying to escape a certain reality. Did you hear what I said? It's about someone trying to escape a certain reality. You know, like someone is caught up in a certain situation, or let me say a scenario where they know that they need to come out of, but they are stuck. So what do? They look for a way out. They look for an escape, you know. But most of the times when people make such decisions, I mean like looking for a way out, oftentimes when people are desperate, they usually take dangerous or harmful choices. Because, I mean, how do you explain this? Anybody in a dangerous situation would be desperate to escape that danger zone. That's just how it works. It's the same way with why people find themselves in these habits. So now, I'm going to tell you what you need to do if you really are serious about ending such a problem when it comes to like smoking and drinking and all these other habits, of course. Let's say I don't just want to make mention of some of these problems, but I would even go as far as mentioning, let's say, not many men, for example, don't talk about this, but I'm going to talk about it. It's also an addiction. Other addictions like, let's say, porn, watching porn, or let's say when you go clubbing, you come back with a strange lady, some lady you don't know, stuff like that. or just these bad habits you know that are destructive. So these are the things I'm going to delve into, and I'm going to show you how, based on my personal experience, how I was able to come out. Because what you need to realize is it's not an easy way out. It's a fight. And I'm going to show you how to put up that fight so that you overcome these habits. When it comes to ending a habit like smoking, for example, I can honestly tell you that it's not easy. You have to know that it's something that you have grown accustomed to. It's something that you've become so fond of. It's something you can't do without. It's something you do. Even when you are not planning to do it, you just find yourself, doing it. Like I would tell you what used to happen to me. The first thing I would wake up in the morning before I even brush my teeth, I would make sure there's a cigarette on my lips. Whenever I would have money, the first thing I would make sure I do is buy some packets of cigarettes and stuff like that. I used to smoke Peter Stuyvesant like crazy. Yeah. Other than that, I used to smoke something else. I'm sure you know some of you, the illegal stuff. So I would make sure I was always loaded with those things. So the first thing you need to do, if you're going to end that addiction, is avoid having those things at your disposal. I mean, closer to you. Yeah, I'll tell you that. If you want to end a smoking addiction, well, every time you're going to purchase cigarettes, don't go and purchase the whole packet or the whole brick. Just go buy maybe a couple sticks, yeah, in a day. Because I would tell you, whenever I would get a pack, I would just puff and puff, I wouldn't care how many I did in a day. That's the danger about it. But when I made that decision, I was like, no, I think I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. What did I start doing? I started avoiding the whole idea of buying in bulk. Because then that meant that I would never run out. So, if you're going to stop an addiction problem like smoking, starve that addiction. How do you starve that addiction? By taking some of the steps I've told you. If usually whenever you go in to buy those things, you buy a packet, you buy a brick. Don't buy that much. I'll give you an example, in the hood where I grew up. There's a couple of stores, or let me say shops around, where we would go and buy these things. And often, once you buy those things, when it's dark, you don't want to go out, because it used to be dangerous. I'm aware there are some places where you can purchase things anytime. But regardless, make sure you don't have those things at your disposal if you want to stop. You can't say, oh, I want to stop smoking, and yet you can't stop buying packets. You're deceiving yourself, If you're going to stop smoking, at least stop buying in bulk. The second thing you need to do about quitting smoking, is avoid hanging around people who smoke. People who you smoke with. One of the things I remember doing was I changed places. I changed the environment. I actually shifted from one town to another. That's how serious I took it. I realized there were times when I don't want to smoke, but people I knew who smoked, they would come to me. The moment I see a cigarette, and okay, I'll take one too. So that's the next thing you need to do. Like I said, sometimes we do things, not that we want to do these things or we love these things, but we just do them because of peer pressure. We're trying to please other people or stuff like that. So stay away from people that encourage you to do bad things. I will show you the third one, but this third one I'm going to show you is what I did, but I'm not sure you are comfortable doing what I did with the third one. I decided to cut ties or end relationships with those people I knew that every time I was with them, all they were doing is just thinking about smoking, drinking, and doing all sorts of things. What I decided to do was join a group of people who don't do those things. You and me know that when you smoke and you drink, if you hang around people who are sober, who don't drink or don't smoke, usually it's boring. Yeah, it is boring. They sort of feel like they're not fun to be around. It's actually strange when you find somebody who smokes and drinks hanging around with people who don't do those things. It's strange. It's actually a rare occurrence. But guess what? When I made that decision, that resolve to say, you know what, I'm done with drinking and smoking, I changed the type of people I used to hang around with. Imagine I changed cities. I moved to another city. And I remember one of these friends of mine I used to drink and smoke with actually traveled from that city to the city where I was just to prove if I had really changed. This guy couldn't believe it. Imagine he even took me out on one night and he was like, you know, I really can't believe you changed. I was like, yes, I did. Then it was like, okay, I know you have changed, but for all time's sake, please just take one for me or take two for me. I still told him, no, I'm done with this thing. He couldn't believe it. And that's what's going to happen for you, you know. Like when you stop smoking and drinking and doing all these crazy things, the people that knew you would actually, they won't believe it that you stopped. They'll think you are joking. They'll think you are messing around. So what's the third thing that I did? Like I said, I joined a group of people who didn't do the smoking and the drinking and all that bad stuff I was doing. So that's what you need to do. You know, I've come to realize that really the environment plays a big role in our lives. The environment in which we hang around, the environment in which we're usually found, it does play a big role. You can't be in a toxic environment and expect to live a healthy lifestyle. You can't be in a violent environment and expect to live a peaceful lifestyle. It just doesn't work like that. So, that's the third thing I did. What's the fourth thing that I did? The fourth thing that I did, I realized one thing. Drinking, smoking, all these bad habits, I realize they are very spiritual. Yes, they are spiritual. Habits are spiritual. I'm saying habits are spiritual because man is a spirit. Yeah, man is a spirit. He possesses a soul and he lives in a body. The body is just a house. So every time when any person out there is addicted to something, whatever they're trying to feed is not really the body per se. They're trying to feed what is on the inside of that body. This is why after you smoke a cigarette, you're going to feel like smoking another one. This is why after you drink a bottle of alcohol, you feel like you're going to smoke another one. This is why after you get one prostitute today, you sleep with her, you feel like taking another one. Why? It's because you are trying to fill that void inside you. There's that emptiness inside you. That's why I say man is a spirit. So the fourth thing I did was try to know my spirituality, like restore my walk, my faith in God. I realized only God can help me. You see, alcohol, there is spiritualism about alcohol. Why? Because alcohol, why would you think they name some of these alcohol brands like spirits? Why do you think that is? I actually read somewhere, there are even a couple of videos around, where someone was saying that every time somebody is addicted to something like alcohol and they are drinking and whatever, in that state when they are drunk or they are high, it's like they open a portal to their soul or their spirit for demons and whatnot to access them. This is why when you enter a club, you find people do things that they were not expecting to do because they were drunk or because they were high. Why? Because when they were in that state, they opened a portal, like they opened a door for demons or whatever to access their spirits and control them. So what did I do? I realized that this thing is spiritual. Why is it that no matter what I try to do, I feel like I'm stuck? I feel like I can't make progress because of this thing. So what did I do? I decided to start going to a church. I decided to keep myself busy with church programs so that I wouldn't have time to smoke and drink anymore. One of the reasons that you find some of us busy in church is because we don't want to be, in that place, in that position where you are not busy with church, and as a result, you find yourself doing some of these things which are not good for your health or not good for your soul, your spirit. So get yourself busy in church. I'm telling you, like you should try this out. If like you want to end a certain habit, you know that I'll tell you, like most of the times when I used to find myself going out to drink, usually it was because I would feel like I'm bored or something like that. Then sometimes I would go out to do those things as a way of having fun. And by the way, that's how we started. Started out like, oh, let's just go have some fun. Before you know it, you're addicted. You're an addict. So these are the things that are destroying a lot of people nowadays. Someone would come, oh, let's just go have fun this weekend. Well, before you know it, a certain habit develops. Simple things like smoking. Somebody tell, oh, no, let's just have fun. Just take one, before you know it, you're in love with that cigarette. Before you know it, you're in love with that shisha. Before you know it, you're in love with that weed. You can stay away from it. So that's what I did. I started feeding myself with the right information because I realized, look at the word information. Information is a compound word. there is two words in there, in and formation. Information, right? Like whatever you get inside you is what forms you. It's what forms who you are. So what did I start doing? I started listening to good stuff. I remember one of the things I started listening to. I remember moving to another city, and then my cousin had this laptop, and then when I was checking through stuff, I used to get stuff from that laptop and then put it on my phone or something. Then I'll be listening to it while I'm walking through my headsets and whatnot. I remember one of them I got was Joe Austin. Some people, I'm sure some people know, most people know about Joel Austin. Yeah, so I would, usually those short messages, I would be walking and listening to them. And I would listen over and over. And I realized the more I listened to those, the more my thinking was changing. So what was I doing? I was reprogramming myself. If you're going to change your life, you need to change the way you think. So it's the same way with habits. You are addicted to that habit. You are so attached to that habit because of the way you think about it. So if you're going to overcome that habit, you need to change the way you think.